Hello everyone, this is a random video and it's one I just wanted to get out there because I feel like I finally cracked the code. A lot more questions to answer, but there's something that's been niggling at me since 2024 about this one family photo of the Markles, and I really wanted to just discuss it because it opens up a situation that's, I guess, there's something about the Markle family that isn't true. There's a creation of this family, and it's not just a creation of this family, but there's hidden information of this family. There's hidden information of Mike Markle. There's hidden information of his military career. There's hidden information on certain people like Doris Markle, the grandmother, and there's hidden information everywhere, to be honest with you. And you can not only see from these articles that I'm about to show you and this information that the whole family is in on it. It's also that Royal Rota is in on it, and also it would be the government that would be in on it. There's certain information, like you'll never find the obituary of Doris Sanders Markle. You'll never find the obituary of many family members, direct family members, because you can't ever really connect and make the lineage clear. That's very, very interesting. I find it very interesting anyway. So I'm going to go through something with you because as I said, I've finally understood what's going on, but then it leads to more questions. So yesterday I put up, I don't know, it was just one of the random posts about this whole narrative. And someone responded with Thomas Markle's family were original settlers, probably Masonic, with links to aristocratic lineage. Meghan's Markle was connected to intel during his Vietnam War service. The whole family was vetted well before Meghan and Harry were announced publicly, since the Crown runs the media. And I responded with the whole Dutch Pennsylvanians are Palatinate Teutons, as Carnegie said, that when the Germans migrated over to Pennsylvania to help with the industrialization of America and pretty much the trading dock, the railway in Pennsylvania compared to the shipping dock in Britain, which were key to trade, especially trade between one another, each country. When those Germans were brought to Pennsylvania, Carnegie justified it that they were Teutons, or Teutonic, part of the Teutonic kind of knights and so forth, and that always really puzzled me until now. I've understood the whole Holy Roman Empire and the mystic, divinely ordained kind of rule. The Teutons or the Teutonic order, the knightly elitist order, was put through linking these orders like Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism to the emperor, and to ordain him as divine, and to connect it back to the Knights Templar, the Teutonic Knights Templar, and to date it back to kind of like this chivalric order, right? So you can understand why Teutons, and why that is so important. It's close to being like the Aryan race, if not more. It's more important than that because it links the empire and the emperor to divinity. So you can understand, like, Palatinate was also, it almost seemed to be like just completely it completely died out with these, and the migrants came over to all different places to settle within the Holy Roman Empire, including America. It's just very, I don't know what the hell happened there. But there's also something to bear in mind that Frederick V, the first Rosicrucian house to marry into Britain with Queen Elizabeth I, and then produce the Anglo-Saxon Empire of Britain. He was of Palatinate and of Heidelberg. And so it's very, very interesting to understand that there's this real connection between the Palatinate area or location of Germany and Rosicrucianism, of the origins of Freemasonry. And that's why you would get a lot of Freemasonry in Dutch Pennsylvania, because they all come from Palatinate. So you can understand that this is around, this is much later on, past the 15th and 17th century, but that this makes a lot of sense. And it also makes a lot of sense as to there's bloodline connections with Trump, with the Markles, etc., etc. I don't know those bloodlines or those lineages, but you can kind of figure out exactly why there's this importance of Pennsylvania with these certain people and these certain families. So we move forward to this. Now, this image in the middle is really what stirs me all the time. And when I see it, I just get triggered, and I'll explain why. But you can see here, Mike Markle, the uncle. Why can't I change it? And then you can see here the Freemasonry hand symbol that this account here has posted in response, which was awesome and a great find. I didn't even see that. So you can see there that Mike is more than just some intel or some military soldier back when he was alive. Now I'm going to get into that photo. Now here's where it gets a bit tricky. So there's a cousin here by the name of Trish Gallop in the middle. Trish Gallop, or Trish Carignan Gallop, Carignan. And then you've got Thomas Markle, David, Nick, Fred. Fred is supposedly Thomas's brother, although I don't know if they look much alike, but anyway, they're supposedly brothers, and David and Nick are supposedly Fred's sons, although they look nothing particularly alike. But anyway, you've got David and Nick that are Fred's sons, and then you've got Trish, this random cousin, and you've got Thomas, and then you've got Meghan. Now this is meant to be Doris, the grandmother, her 85th birthday party. Now, supposedly Doris was born in 1920, so that would take us to 2005. Now, how Meghan is dressing, that's not 2005. That dates back to circa 2000. 2000 when Meghan, she's wearing the same clothes as she was in the theatre performance. I think it was after she graduated, the year after she graduated, and that when she was a leader at that camp at the IHHS, the Immaculate Heart High School, when she came back to be a mentor and leader for that fat girl that was that got those letters of empathy and whatever the hell. That's a camp where the graduating class has mentors that have already graduated, alumni mentors, and they wrote letters of encouragement and tried to kind of like launch them out into the world. That's the whole notion of that. So Meghan had already graduated by then, and I'm going with the storyline and the narrative, by the way, and the imagery that we've seen. If we go, this is circa 2000. Around the same time in 2000, Trish Gallop was pregnant with her son. I can't tell from this image if she was pregnant here because it's such a big, you can see here that it's that the dress is, gaping. There's no actual real bodice, so it's not cinched at the waist. So I'm not sure if she's pregnant there, but 2000 she was pregnant. That's fact that she was pregnant with a child. So this again is meant to be this birthday of Doris Markle. Now here's a shot of another picture. Now this is the one that really just shits me, and I'm going to explain. So let me explain who these people are. So the one on the far right is supposedly Doris Markle. You have an identical looking man between, well, there's Meghan there, and right next to it is an identical looking man, literally identical to Doris Markle, which is weird because unless they're mother and son, but they don't look like mother and son, they look the same age. You've got, that's meant to be Mike Markle, which is hilarious, the uncle, right? I'm going to explain to you why that's so bloody hilarious. This is an older man around the same age as Doris Markle, the grandmother. So that's meant to be her son. And Mike Markle and Doris Markle, that's meant to be her 85th birthday in 2005, right? And then you've got Fred, obese Fred over there with Nick and David, his sons. You've got this woman here in the middle. You've got Trish there. You've got Thomas, and you've got a woman by the name of Tony Carol Markle. And she turns out to be until her death in 2012, the wife of Mike Markle. So get this. That Carol here is meant to be this guy's wife. Do you see the age comparison here? That's not Mike Markle, whoever that is. So, and Gordon Markle died in 1970, the father of all these guys. So there's something very, very odd about this man in the middle. Not just Meghan Markle there, but you've got who's just like everything else is pixelated and blurred, and then you've got Meghan Markle who's pristine. It's very, very strange. You can even see the shine on her face compared to everyone else. It's very strange. But you've got Mike Markle in the middle here. Now, their explanation is you've got Fred, Mike Markle, Meghan and Doris. You've got cousin David, cousin Nick, cousin Tracy Todd. So this woman in the middle here is meant to be Tracy Todd. It isn't Tracy Todd, by the way. And I'm going to explain to you who Tracy Todd is. Trish Gallop, Tom Markle Sr. and Auntie Tony Markle. So that's correct about Tony Markle. So they were okay with, even though she's passed away, they were okay with giving her full name and her existence there, right? So you're like, oh, that's okay, but also weird, because in the middle here is Trisha's mother. It's not Tracy Todd. Tracy Lynn Markle Todd is Mike Markle's daughter with Trish. Trish is also Mike Markle's daughter. Now let me explain to you the history of Mike Markle. In, let's say, 1960, possibly 1959, Mike Markle was stationed in the military in Germany. You're not going to get any of these records. You're not going to get any of his information because all of his articles and everything that he talks about, his embassies and his diplomacy, he was never in Germany. Oh, he was in Berlin, I think he was in Berlin. But that's not Hofgeismar. That's not Kassel. That's not the Kassel base in Germany in Hesse. Okay, that's a very different place. They've excluded that from all information. And you're not privy to such information. You're not privy to him being serving in the military at that time when he was 21 years old. He was circa 21 years old when he got a woman by the name of Kriemhild Erhardt pregnant. Kriemhild Erhardt is this woman in the middle here, Trish's mother. He got her pregnant and she had Trish in 1960. And she stayed in Hofgeismar and raised Trish. Mike Markle went back to America and by 1962 got another woman pregnant and had Tracy Lynn Markle. And then she was brought up with him for, I don't know, however long. Went to all the places he was stationed at, like Guam, like Egypt. She moved where he moved, so obviously he was in a solid relationship, possibly married. And then later on in life, in the 1990s, I suspect he married Tony, who also had her own sons, Chris and Michael Taylor. So she was already previously married and divorced, and she remarried Mike Markle until she died in 2012. Kriemhild Erhardt also died in 2012. So this can't be much time between this. This is around circa 2000. So Kriemhild stays in Germany and has her daughter. So all information that Mike Markle was based or stationed in Germany has been erased from all history unless you have those records available to you. So he was at the Hofgeismar base because then she met in, I think, circa 1962, so around when Trish was 2 years old, she met another American by the name of Robert Carignan, who was stationed at the same base. They fall in love. She was 17 when she had Trish. They fall in love. They get married in Germany, and they're raising little Trish together as a unit, and they marry in 1963. And then he's stationed back to America, and they move all back to America together. And then they have a son together, Kriemhild and Robert. And Trish has a half-brother by the name of Bob or Robert Carignan, so Robert Jr. And so that's how you can understand this information. They've hidden that from you, and Trish Gallop herself has hidden that from you in this photo here. And there's no explanation as to why other than hiding Mike Markle's history. And the German link. Because these two women, Kriemhild and Tony, died the same year. They've disclosed Tony's name, but they have not disclosed Kriemhild's name. And they haven't disclosed who she was to make sense of it all. Now, if you look at Kriemhild, and if you look at what's his face, Mike Markle, can you believe that they're meant to be the father and mother of Trish, right? Can you believe that they're only 4 years apart in age? She was 17, he was 21 by the time that Trish was born. This is not Mike Markle, and it's definitely not Gordon Markle. Gordon Markle's dead, but it looks very much like Mike Markle. So who is this man? Is this the real father of Thomas Markle, of Frederick Markle. Either way, this doesn't make any sense, and there's been a creation of a family unit. So I think that is really the most important part, is that this is not just manipulated, this photo or whatever is going on here. It's not just manipulated. There is something wrong, something that isn't disclosed and protected by mainstream media, by government, and by the family, about what you see here and what the family is and who is a family unit. As I said, there's no obituary for Doris Markle. She's not 85 by 2005. Well, she's not 85 by 2000, sorry, I should say. So this is all very, very strange. And I've already disproven the whole notion that Meghan Markle went to Argentina because of the crisis that was happening in Argentina at the time. I debunked that in 2023? I'm pretty sure I did. And unless it happened a lot earlier, unless she went earlier, and this whole age thing, as I've said before, maybe 1979 was circa 1999 or so forth. Maybe it was earlier and it was before the whole crisis even happened. But she wouldn't have been able to go to Argentina during that time. There's no chance in hell. And there was also no testing centers for that test that she supposedly did and all that stuff. It's all been made up. So I'm not too sure what this is. I don't necessarily know if Meghan Markle is a part of this family. I don't necessarily know how this family works. But I think that it's important. What I found out was who actually was cream-heeled, because in a Telegraph article, you have them saying that Trish Gallop is Mike Markle's daughter. And when you actually put them close up together, you can see that they're very, very similar in features. So I could then understand, okay, so Mike Markle is her biological father, which in his obituary, he doesn't even say that he had a daughter by the name of Trish Gallop. He only has a daughter by the name of Tracy Lynn Todd or Tracy Lynn Markle. So I think she was adopted by Robert Carrington, or she just said that her father was Robert Carrington. But it's a very, very strange dynamic, and it's one that's been hidden from us, and it's very, very strange. And I think the reason I wanted to put this out was not to cause more drama, but to just simply state that there's a lot that's there that doesn't make any sense. That's definitely not Mike Markle. And it's very, very strange. I doubt very much that Doris passed away in 2011 at the age of 91. But it could be true, but the whole timelines are screwed up, and the photos of Meghan Markle with her don't match those dates because they've tried to manipulate the whole narrative. So there's just a lot that doesn't make any sense that we won't ever get answers for. But I definitely can prove to you just with this that the family are in on it, that the government is in on it, and that the whole mainstream media is in on it. Thank you. I had just finished. I was about to find a picture for the cover, the thumbnail. And then for the first time ever, I find this photo. I find this photo of the same event. Now, that's meant to be Doris, crime-heeled, Trish, Nick, David. That's, I've forgotten her name. I think it's Teresa. Teresa, which is Frederick's ex-wife, and Frederick. And then you have supposedly Mike Markle, the same age as, pretty much the same age as Doris. Now, you can tell from here that it's not Doris's birthday. It is this guy in the middle's birthday. So I don't know who he is, but first of all, it's not Mike, but it looks exactly like Mike. So I'm guessing it's his father, and I'm guessing it's Thomas Markle's father. And yeah, I don't even know who Doris Markle is. But you can see here, this is the same, exact same event now with Teresa in the photo, and just slightly different. So I think that's the end, I hope.